Hey, yo, what's good? What's poppin'? What's happening with you all? It's your boy Gold Phoenix in the flesh. Rise from the ashes and be blessed. You know the spill. Listen up. I have had the worst week I've had in a very long time. And I'm going to talk about it. I know a lot of people who subscribe to me are either newer to this than I am, or they don't even drive at all, and they're just curious. Maybe you guys want to get into this industry. Maybe you're a student and you're trying to figure out what to expect if you lease, I guess to some degree, decide to go owner-operator, but I'm a lease op, so I'm speaking from that perspective. Throat's a little dry. I decided I want to go home, right? I'm supposed to be home in about 6 days. I told my fleet manager last week, I want to be home this date, right? Now, I have no doubts I'll be able to get to my house. Though I will say the last time I had to deadhead 400 miles to get there. For whatever reason. As if there aren't accounts that this company has that are much closer to my house. They have one that's literally 17 miles away from my house. And instead, they sent me somewhere in Oklahoma. After I dropped that load, they didn't say anything. I was waiting on another dispatch to take a load maybe to Dallas or something like that. Not a peep. So I just deadheaded 400 miles. Not the end of the world. I took 10 days off. What are you gonna do? This time I'm probably gonna take 2 weeks off. I haven't seen my house since June 6th. I've been gone that long. Today is what, it's September 23rd. I'm going home the 30th. Or at least I plan on being home the 30th. Could be earlier, could be after. Either way, I'm taking my time off. I've noticed whenever I decide I want to go home, it's always some BS. Every single time. And this company will use the excuse that, well, you might not make as much money because you need to be in a specific area, while at that same mouth claiming rates are up. There's loads everywhere. I don't find it to be a coincidence that whenever I decide to go home, rates fall off and I start getting jerked around. I don't find that to be just a coincidence or, oh, well, you're trying to get over here, so this is, no. It's on purpose. I know it is. You're not fooling anyone. This is also another reason I don't talk about the company I work for. Or work with, technically speaking. Because if I mention their name, or I show their logo, then that means I represent them. And I represent no one but myself, and I'm going to speak freely. I am not pleased with this crap. This is the biggest caveat I have with this company. They'll get you home, they're going to screw you in the process, at least in my experience. Every time, it never fails. I live in Texas. Texas. I'm in the middle of the country. Loads are going to Dallas. They're going to Houston, Austin, San Antonio. All very close to where I live. Well, within a few hours. Not only that, but I've taken loads out of Texas. Never had an issue. I pulled loads all over Kentucky, Connecticut, Georgia. I pulled good paying stuff out of Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Ohio for sure. But now I want to go home. The rates are just dumb. Within the hundreds of dollars. Let me tell you how my week went. I pulled nothing but BS all week, right? I finally get a load towards the end. It was going to be my last load for payroll. Paid about $3,000 to go 1,000 miles. We went from Kentucky to Connecticut. 3 racks, 1,000 miles. The appointment was too tight though. I can't go 1,000 miles in a day. That's not happening. They said they'll reschedule it. That was bogus. I get to the receiver, find out it's bogus. They said I was supposed to be there the previous day, which is actually yesterday. They say they'll unload me. Just go park in staging. I sat for 12 hours. Then they kicked me out. I get with my fleet manager. Say, yo, what's the deal? This needs to be fixed. I sit for another few hours. Go have me some Mexican food. Chill out. Lay down. Waiting. Just waiting. Get a message. Hey, yo, you gonna have to just drop that at the yard. Basically do what I should have done in the first place. But when I proposed that, what do you say? Oh no, I'll get it rescheduled. Just drop the load. This is how dumb this crap was. You send me the information of what time you want me to be there. Then you send me a message to show up an hour after the time you told me to be there. Then I show up an hour before the time you sent me, like a responsible person. I get screwed. You had me do what I should have done in the first place. I burned all my freaking fuel away because pretty much going into like Pennsylvania and all that, 81, 84 toward Connecticut, practically all the way uphill. I got a 44,000 pound load behind me. I'm at like 78,900. Call it 79,000 pounds. My fuel is gone. And after all that, the load don't even make payroll. After all the mess, all the work I done this week, having my sleep schedule shifted over and over and over and over and over and over again. Dealing with cities Atlanta, Nashville, Louisville, Columbus, Cincinnati, all over the place. I walk away with $144. Now, I've said before, you're not going to make the same amount of money every week. What's going to happen is I'll end up getting paid for that next week. So I'm just starting out next week's payroll $3,000 ahead. I will be irritated if this doesn't balance out. Because you know how much money I like to make, you know where I like to stay at, right? And so next week needs to make up for this week's nonsense. I'ma let it be known, I ain't never doing no favors again. I'm here to get paid, not to do your bidding. That's not happening. And secondly, I'm not coming to the Northeast for a minute. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of grossing high and having tolls eat away all my money. I'm sick of that. Mountains, that's one thing, but I'd rather deal with the mountains out west. When it's time for me to leave home, don't even send me a load if it's not going west. I'll just sit, and I got the money to do it. Don't think I won't. I'm tired of the nonsense. I'm tired of, everything's going smoothly until I want something, until I need something. Now all of a sudden it's all kinds of hoops and BS every time. It's cool if I'm working. If I want to take off, I don't want you to go home, so I'm just going to mess your week up. I'm not convinced that it just happens because I need to be in a specific area. I'm convinced they do little petty stuff to try to keep you out. Like I said, the last time I went home, I had to deadhead 400 miles to get there after doing a load. When they have loads going to a place 17 miles away from where I live. They have loads going 150 miles away from where I live. But it's always something, whether my final load is somewhere far away or I just don't make any money. It's always something. That's my biggest caveat with this freaking company. Anytime I go home, in my experience, something gets screwed up. Every freaking time, without fail. Some people might disagree. That's not your experience, and that's cool. I believe they pick favorites. It's my experience. It's always screwy when I go home. Every time. Every time. If there was any reason I was going to leave where I'm at now, it would be that. It would definitely be that. And going somewhere else is always on the table. Show me a better deal, I'll take it. I'm about my bread, bro. But I also don't ask for much. So when I speak, I expect it to be taken seriously, and I expect you to uphold the standard I set. If that cannot be done, I'll walk away. That freaking simple. If you're new to this industry, or you're thinking about getting into it, this is just a little something to keep in mind. This is the stuff that can happen. It might not be your experience. Don't let me scare you. But then again, it very well could. It's mine. But anyway, that's it for that. As I always tell you guys, be happy, stay blessed. Don't be afraid to make drastic changes in your life. It might end up being the best decision you ever made. I'm Gold Phoenix, and I'm out.